Okay, so for this project, we are gonna use 2 sheets of, I use a fat quarter to do this, so I'm gonna use 2 pieces. I did cut the fat quarter in 8, this is 18 in length and 14 in width. Okay, I am gonna use my favorite webbing, so I used 3 inches, and this is 3/4 inch. And then I used a zipper, and the zipper I went ahead and I put it at the top, just so I can see that I have the right. It's a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit bigger than 14, it's about 16. But I just always like to have a little extra just in case in each side. I did went ahead and did low flow interfacing on my face sheet. This is gonna be really thin. And I kind of want it like that. So we're gonna make this really quick. It's a very easy boxy pouch, and I want you to be able to feel comfortable doing this pouch. So I'm gonna put it looking up, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my inner lining and I'm gonna fold it in half, and I'm gonna go ahead and press it a little bit. I have it right here. And the reason I'm gonna go ahead and open this, okay? There we go. Just because I do want to create a seam on the bottom. And then I'm gonna look at my little bunnies, and they're not bunnies, they're like mice, and I'm gonna turn them over, only because, you know, I have a print, so I'm gonna make sure all my little friends are looking up, and then I'll turn it over like this so I can have it ready to go. I'm just gonna iron it very quick, a little bit more. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the next section. So I'm gonna take the top of my other piece, which is gonna be the front of the face of the pouch, and I'm gonna turn this one over. Okay, and you can go ahead and put a pin, or you can put a clip, whatever works for you better. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the mice in a way that when I turn them over, so the mice are gonna be on top, but when I turn them over, I want them looking up. So I'm just gonna check that to make sure I don't wanna make the mistake of putting them and then they are in the wrong position. So I place it on top, and I'm gonna look, okay, this is perfect. Turn it over, and now I'm gonna go ahead and pinch it together with the other one. Make sure everything kind of lines up really nicely. Okay, and then I just pinch it. And let's go ahead and take it into the machine. So here we are. And I'm gonna do a backstitch to get started. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over and I'm gonna go ahead and back stitch my front side. So see how I kind of folded the zipper over? So it just sits there, very nice. Oops. Okay, very nice. So that looks really pretty and it has little red tone, so I like it very much. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over. And now we are gonna put the top piece. So I'm not gonna separate it so I can make sure it sits on the right position. And then after I put it where it should go, then I'll separate it, okay? So I'm just gonna hold it in place nicely. So that way I have it nice and lined up correctly. And then I'll separate it, okay? Okay, there you go. So now I'm gonna put so I'm gonna take my other part on top, and I want to make sure those little mice are looking up. Make sure you can see. So I'm gonna make sure the mice are there, and then I'm gonna hold them together. So I just move my clip, it's not a clip, my pin. There you go. Ow. And you can or don't have to really separate it if you don't want to, really. So this got a little under stretch, so let me stretch it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and sew that along. So that looks really nice. Let's see. Oh yeah, very nice. See? And now I'm gonna look at the top. So because I want to top stitch it nicely, I'm gonna separate it. Okay. And then I'm gonna top stitch that other side. Now that I have done that, that looks really pretty in both sides. I'm gonna go ahead and bring together the ends. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring together the ends. Make sure you line them up really good. Okay, and for this, I'm actually gonna clip it. And I'm just gonna put 3. Just to make sure it stays in place. I am gonna sew along, but I'm gonna leave like a little bit of a square in the middle because I'm gonna turn my pouch from there, okay? So we are gonna be cutting at one point a square there. So with that being said, I'm gonna right there, I'm gonna back stitch, kind of makes it a little more set. And here I'm gonna go ahead and lift it and turn it and sew down and back stitch, okay? And then lift it up and then leave about that much. So again, I'm gonna sew a little back stitch and then go turn, bring it down, up, okay? And then turn again. And just about when you're missing about 1/4 of an inch, or an inch, sorry, we're gonna backtrack and then finish. And backtrack again, back stitch, okay? That looks great, and you have an opening right there. By you making that little nibble there, when you fold it, it folds really nicely. So it just helps with turning the pouch. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this for a second so I can put the zipper, and then I'll turn it back over, okay? There you go. See how when I turn it, see how it ends up falling so pretty together? So that's because we did that little up and down. It just makes it a better turn. So let me go ahead and put the zipper together. Okay, so for the zipper, again, I'm gonna put this together really nicely. Now make sure everything is even. I think I'm gonna hold it in the middle just so it stays even. Right there. And then I'm gonna put my piece. And I bring it over. Sometimes when I lower it a little bit, just put a little touch and a little bit, yes, there you go. And then just push it with your nail a little bit. And if it doesn't go, there you go, it went. But see how it's not even? It should be even. So I'm gonna take it off and do it again. Okay. So let me try to put just a little bit. There you go. Okay. Now it's much better. Okay, it's even enough. So that's good. Okay, so I can take that out. Look how beautiful that looks. Okay, I'm gonna leave it open a little bit. Okay, so let's just put it in the center and we're good to go. So what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna turn it over completely, and then I'm gonna turn it over once more. Okay, there we go. So you have it completely over. I'm gonna take it into the other table so we can organize it really good. Okay, so I took my inside and I folded over and I put a clip on the middle just so I can have a nice middle part. So what I am gonna do next is that I am going to go ahead and make sure it's even in both sides. So I'm going to go to the 0 and then I'm going to measure. So I am measuring at 3, I'm going to say 3.5 and or 3 1/4, 3 1/4 inch. And then if I go to the other side, I'm going to check it. And there's a lot more. How's that possible? Okay. Let me see. It sounds like I need to scoot over. So that's not the middle. So let me go ahead and do the following. So I'm going to turn it over. I wanted it to be perfectly even. So I'm going to come here and then I am going to take a little snip here. Tiny little snip. Kind of telling me that is the center. That is the center of in that position. And then I'm going to do the same on this one. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and from that center, I'm going to go ahead and go center to that corner. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a snip. Okay. And the same thing over center to that corner and take a snip. Okay. And the other side. Center to that side and to the other side and center to the other side. Okay. And let's make sure I have those nice and even there. Oops. I did join this part of the zipper with a clip. Okay. And once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and hold it in place. And hold the other side in place. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and mark my 1 inch. So let me see. I think if I do 2 inches, it's gonna be that much. So my pouch becomes smaller. So 2 inches would be to here. So I want to look at it. And I have that much height on the pouch. So it's not that much. But if I do 1 inch, it's a little too small of a square. So it's about, so I think I'm going to do 1.5 inches because I think that's perfect. So it's going to be 1.5 inches. So that's something you can look. So I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to put a little dot there so I know that's the one that I'm picking. Sorry. The reason that I'm marking it is that when I sew, I'm going to back stitch right here. Okay. So that way I know and it closes that. So when I clip here, it is not going to open. Okay. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. So we said 1.5 inches. It's right there. I'm going to match it to the other one. There you go. And that's my back stitch, the clip position. And I'm going to do the same here. 1.5 inches. And if I go and throw a line across, I should be in the same spot. Yes. Okay. And 1.5 inches. Wait, let me see. That's almost 2 inches. That's 2 inches. 1.5 inches. Okay, that looks great. Okay, so that allows me to do a better sewing. So when I sew it, it just looks, it's gonna look really nice. I'm just gonna hold it there in place. So it's gone. And I'm gonna make an X on that one so I know that's not the one that I'm doing. Okay, so I made an X on those two. I'm gonna do the same thing with the top piece now. So I'm gonna open it and stretch it out. And I feel like this deserves a good press, so that way it kind of sits the way I want it to sit. So let me move all this stuff that I have here. Sometimes the fabric behaves better when you press it. So just make sure you're doing that, okay? There we go. Okay, just a little bit, just to kind of bring it down. So now that I have it there, what I'm gonna do next is that I'm gonna go ahead and do the same 1.5 inches here. This is the same ruler, so just for accountability. Okay. But I am grabbing the fabric, not the whole thing. Okay. Okay, so I did 1.5 inches there. This may take a minute, you know, but it's gonna be worth it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it in the machine. So what's gonna happen, let me hold it together. There you go. Just one, just so it stays where it needs to stay. Okay. What's gonna happen is that this one, I'm gonna sew separate every sheet because I don't wanna have any seams inside. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip these over, and I'm gonna sew from the corner of the zipper up to here, to the mark that I made, okay? So I'm gonna come here all the way to the mark, like in this point. I'm gonna flip over and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, and then I can flip this one, and again from the zipper to here, okay? Maybe I can hold it there, and the same thing here, okay? Let's go ahead in the machine and do that. Okay, so just like I explained, I went ahead and cut and did all the corners, okay? And everything should be sewn really nicely. So what we're gonna do next is that this center is still open, so I'm gonna put my tabs now. So we're gonna do that next. And let me show you how I do that. So I'm gonna turn my tab in the middle, Some people like to sew the top on the same color as the fabric. I like to use my webbing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the top through the front side, in the middle, right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and have everything together, and I'm gonna sew across. Okay. And once I do that, I am okay to cut my zipper. Okay, and then go ahead and do the other side the same way. So I fold it and I put it in between. Okay, squeeze it through that little gap right there, and make sure it's aligned with the fabric so it's a straight and the zipper. And then I'll make sure I have everything, and then I sew across. Again, we just got it finished there, so I'm gonna cut. Okay, and that looks really good. So what's gonna happen next is that I am gonna go ahead and take that little box, and then I'm gonna center them. Okay, so go ahead and do all your pieces. So I take it on the center, and see how when you pull it there, because we did backstitch, it's not gonna open. If you didn't backstitch, that will open. It's kind of upsetting when it does. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, and this is your front. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this one. You have two choices. You can put it together, your pouch, you can put them together, or you can leave them separate. Sometimes putting them together keeps the pouch feeling a little bit nicer. So I'll show you what I mean with that. Or you can just sew it like this and just push the inside over. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of almost bring this down and bring it together. So it's almost like you're sewing everything together, which is really nice. There we go. And I'm gonna do the same to all the pouches. Oh, did I not cut this one? I didn't cut this one. Let me cut it. It's gonna feel like it's all bunched up right now, but when you finish, it just comes together really pretty. So just make sure that you stretch the fabric really nicely so you see it's good. So let's do the other side. And again, I just put those two together. And I'm missing one, right? I mean, I am, yes, I am. I put those two together. Okay, let's go ahead and sew it. So it looks a little messy, but you'll see it when we finish, okay? So let's go ahead and sew it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my excess. Okay, so it would be really nice and clean. And again, cut my excess. Sorry. One more. Okay. So we've did all the corners. I'm gonna go to that center that we left open before. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn that pouch and see what happens. If something is needing to be sewn a little bit more, then we're gonna look at it first. So this is more like a check, okay? So I'm gonna check all my corners, everything. Everything is looking gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So the inside looks beautiful. The inside looks so beautiful. Let's go ahead and see the outside. Everything looks great there. Another great corner. Oh, this came out beautiful. Came out perfect. I'm gonna cry. Okay. So this looks, it's very floppy, which is I put a low flow interfacing. That was my intention. And it just looks gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. I do have this, I'll show you my tags. So now before we finish, we do need to close that center, and you can do it by hand to make it really pretty, or we can do it by machine, which I'm gonna do it by machine very quickly, just a little tiny stitch there. And because we did it with that little line, it just has such a beautiful fold, as you can see. So I'm gonna put it just like very, very close to the corner. And I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So I'm gonna reduce the speed of my machine to make sure I go right into that ditch very nicely. Okay? Let's take a look at it. So it's so subtle, so little, okay? Because we did it so, just so little. Beautiful. Okay. And nobody can really see it, so it's perfect. I'm gonna show you my tags that I'm gonna put. So let's go to the other, okay, so this look absolutely beautiful. So my tags are iron on. I don't want to put it outside. I think I could, but I don't want to. I want to put it inside. So these came out beautiful. Now my tags are iron on. Again, I could put it outside, but I don't think I want to put it outside. I want to put it inside because it's a little more discreet and I like it like that. So I'm going to do it there, like right in the center. So when you open your pouch, you can see it right there. So I'm just going to lay what I want in between these two mices. Okay, let me find my center right there. I hold it for like 15 seconds. These ones I could sew in as well. I'm just gonna iron it on, but you can sew it in. The difference is that when you iron on this kind, they can be pulled out, so you can have, so if you want your little tag to not be taken out, I would have sewn it on the lining before I put it, because I just don't want to have a stitching on the back. So with that being said, I'm just going to iron it on so it can be better. There you go. And it's all done. It's beautiful. It has such a beautiful, I love it. Okay, great. I'm so happy. I hope you enjoyed this video. The pouch came out really nice. So this is it's a very soft fabric, so it's very soft. It's easy, so it fits on any pouch. You see how flat it is. It doesn't have as much body because I use a low flow interfacing, but overall it looks beautiful. Everything is perfect. You can see my tag there, and everything looks so nice. So you can put some fun stuff. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel so you can not miss more and help me make more. Thank you.